All right, guys, it's the Inception closer. So in today's video, let's get this mic rocking and rolling here. Just got off a role play here, so a little bit parched. So today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about role playing and maybe some of the things to avoid when you're role playing to make it a little bit better for each other. As I've been doing lots of role plays, and this is what every once in a while we run into. I think to do a proper role play, you need to think like an actual client. So you might need to spend 10, 15 minutes before the Zoom call. Doesn't have to be a lot, but just basically what the person is actually selling. So if it's fitness, if it's coaching, consulting, whatever it is, ask them about it. Ask them how you came across their channel. Maybe it's a website, maybe it's a YouTube video, maybe it was Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever it is. Ask them those questions so that when you're on the phone call, you can kind of be like an actual prospect instead of just winging it sometimes. So you don't have to know obviously all about their course and price points and all that kind of stuff. That doesn't really matter. Sometimes it's kind of fun when they shock and awe you with their prices like 3,000, 10,000, 12, whatever it is. And I think your job as as a prospect is to try and give them some objections that are realistic. Like, don't be all, if they're handling the objections early and stuff, don't be all like, if you say at the beginning, I make all the decisions and I'm single and all this kind of stuff. And then at the end, when they're making their pitch, you're like, well, actually, I have a spouse, I have a wife, I have a significant other. Don't change the script, if you will. Don't change the movie to a different type of a movie because that would be weird. You got to stay congruent throughout the whole presentation to help the closer, help him out, help her out, help me help you. That's a line, but it's probably misappropriated. So that's one of the ways that you can help the closer out, and vice versa. They can help you out when you're trying to close them on a high ticket offer. Another thing, I think it's helpful to have an objection based around price. I think if you can try and be creative on that, like obviously the price is too expensive, but really dig in a little bit and say, can you stretch it out for like 6 months, a year, 18 months, 2 years, that kind of stuff? Because sometimes that throws the closer off a little bit unless they're really um, unless they really know their script and they know where they want to take you. So sometimes they can overcome that objection by dealing with it a little bit earlier. If they haven't, that's kind of their fault. So you can kind of throw them a little bit of a curve and just say, yeah, everything sounds good. The payments, like, this is actually sounds pretty high. I've never paid for anything that high. Can you stretch it out to 18 months or something like that? Because I just like to manage my budget and all this kind of stuff. And just, you got to be a good role player. So it's a little bit of back and forth, but you don't want to stump them so bad that you throw them such a curve that they don't have closure on it either, if that makes sense. Like, you obviously there's times where you're going to be closed, but make them work for it a little bit. Have a little bit of fun with it, back and forth, that kind of stuff. It's okay, but just stay consistent with whatever character that you are. If you're a potential gym owner, you want to have your own fitness studio, all this kind of stuff, yoga therapy, whatever it is, be consistent with that thread throughout the presentation so you don't throw off the closer that way. But it's okay to have objections because they're prepared for that. But the payment thing, I think if you can get it down to a point where if you're a closer and you can get it to one, maybe two payments, depending on how, if it's under $5,000, I have no problem in saying this is what it is. That's it. If you start getting into the dance of stretching it out over 3 to 6 months, a year, and that kind of stuff, you're going to starve. I'm going to starve. We're all going to starve. And you could use that as a bit of a coaching session. So if maybe somebody wants to become a coach, a consultant, or whatever, and you could use that and say, look, can I just coach you through this for a second? You're asking me to stretch out this payments from, say, it's $4,000 over a year. What happens if you get your first client and they start nickel and diming you? How are you going to handle that? If you don't know, I'm going to show you how I'm going to handle that in this call right now, right this second, and help them overcome that objection. That is where inception selling comes in handy, because you're telling them what you're going to do, and then you're helping them so that when they have that same objection, when they jump into your program, it'll make sense to them. Hopefully this has helped you out. If it has, let me know in the comments. And if you're role playing, all that kind of stuff, let me know if there's what type of a role play opponent do you like? Do you like someone that's aggressive and grinds you to a halt? Or do you like a little bit of banter back and forth? Or do you like to just follow your script exactly and they need to just stay within that parameter? Let me know in the comments. Hope this helps, and I'll see you in another video. Bye for now.